Bum 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 ba, 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 bum 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 ba, bum 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 ba,
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Friends in Music podcast. I'm sitting here with my friend Christian. Christian, thanks for doing this with me.
Yeah, thank you. It was exciting.
So I've known you for quite a while. We met when we were in school. We both were playing in bands. I've gotten to know you a lot more over the last couple of years, and you're definitely one of the nicest people I've ever got to know and meet.
You're making me blush.
Well, you do so many things for people. You go out of your way to make sure everybody's having a good day. You hold the door for people. You buy people things all the time. One of my favorite things that you've done for me personally is when you picked me up from the correct airport once. You had an energy drink ready for me, and you know that I love baseball, so you had baseball cards ready for me. You're such a sweetheart.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's funny.
Dude, it was so nice of you. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
So we met back in the day, both in bands.
Yes.
What do you remember about that time of us meeting and doing that?
Oh my gosh. That was a really fun time. I think back to living in Rexburg, and I remember when I first came to Rexburg in 2016. I don't recall there being much of a music scene.
Yeah.
The first show I went to in Rexburg, I played.
Okay.
It was the Battle of the Bands, which you guys did not do.
Yeah.
Do you want to go into that, why you didn't play it?
We can go back to that if you want
Okay,
to.
you wanna go back to that? Anyway, so it was a Battle of the Bands, which looking back, we had to pay to be in the Battle of the Bands, which is really stupid.
So you answered your question to me. There it is.
Exactly. But yeah, so I anyway, long story short, we can talk about the band situation later, but played in that and saw that there was somewhat of a small music scene.
Yeah.
And then, we just, honestly, I think we really mostly got connected because we were the only two bands in the area that played anything that was faster than like 60 beats per minute.
For sure, yeah.
And didn't have 9 people in it with a banjo and a ukulele or stuff like that. So, And then we ended up playing shows together, and it was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, the banjo, fiddle, what genre would you call that music?
Some people would call that country. I think it's a very specific... the type of music the other bands in Rexburg play, to me, it's like I think we used to call it like Provo indie.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it was like everyone was trying to be some sort of like a mixture of a little bit of Imagine Dragons and then that band, the National Parks.
Yeah.
So like some violin, like folk. I'm not sure why folk music is big in Utah. I don't think that's not really the culture there, but so that was the other sort of band that was in town.
That was like the sound. I remember either it was all the bands like that or just like DJs, dance party type stuff.
Oh, I did forget about the DJs.
Yeah, those were big up there at the time.
Yeah, I never went to one of the infamous, I don't know if they were bubble parties or paint parties. Did you ever go to those?
Oh, no, of course not.
I didn't think so.
I did, through my work though, I did host a dance party, and I didn't step foot into it. Like, it was just a way to kind of get involved and kind of do something different with the job that I was doing at the time. And I don't regret it. It was funny. There was a DJ there that caught wind that we were doing a dance party. And so he tried to sabotage it because he wasn't okay with a little friendly competition. So he wanted me to hire him. And I was like, no, dude, like we already got it set up. Like, we're good. And so he hosted another event that night to try to compete against me because he was not okay. And like, I have no idea what his show up was, but I remember him calling me during that and like trying to rub in his face, like, my place is packed. And I was like, dude, like, we sold all our tickets. Like, we're good, man. Like, congratulations to you, friend.
That sounds like that would be a great movie. That would be a really great movie, like this small little Mormon town of dueling DJs that are like trying to win over the 10,000 kids that are in the town. That's really funny.
I wish like I still had the phone with like the text messages and stuff because he thought he was so cool, and like I just didn't care. Like, it wasn't like that was my full-time thing. Like, we had a different company, and like we did so many different things, and so we were just trying to get involved into the college town, right? And like for me, it was cool, like opportunity to meet other people. But to go back to that Battle of the Bands thing, I think I was the odd man out in our band that I said no, and I was pretty firm on that because I did not want to pay to play. And the guy that ran that venue, he screwed us over one time already, and so I was like, I'm not paying him to play at his venue. But like I went, like of course I supported like everybody there. Like, I love the idea. I think you and I missed like when there was actually good music going through there, and our friend Chase, like, hopefully he'll talk with us because there were so many cool bands that did go through there at one point, but when we were there, not really.
The fact that like Taking Back Sunday and The Used played Idaho Falls, it means that at one point that was on the map as a place where like
Yeah.
punk and emo thrived. And I mean, even when we were there were cool bands like in Idaho Falls. There's Pinebreaker, TV Dads. There were some. I think they were like the leftovers of the bands that had been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a bummer that we missed that though.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, but
Still early on, us meeting, fun times.
yeah, no, it was great. Yeah,
I remember that Battle of the Bands. Like, I was like, oh yeah, these guys are like people that we can play shows with, and that's when I set up that other show at the apartment complex. Like, I was like, I reached out to you guys. It was like, we're similar.
yeah.
I mean, we're doing different things, but like, if someone's gonna like one of our bands, hopefully they would like the other one. And so
That's funny you say that, because when you like, I didn't really know that you went to that show. I mean, I knew you were there, but I didn't realize you actually saw our set because it was bad. I mean, we had practiced twice together. I think I had written 2 songs that didn't have lyrics, and then we covered
Moose Blood.
Moose Blood. We covered My Own Worst Enemy by Lit.
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
That's funny.
and then we did a Citizen cover.
Oh, sick.
What is that one called? The Night We Drove Alone.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Yeah, we did that cover. And I didn't know till after the show that our bass player at the time. So at the time I played guitar and sang. Cameron played guitar and sang. And then we had another drummer and a bassist named Joe. And they were both really nice dudes, but they played that show and then left.
Yeah.
But during that show, Joe, the bassist, like there was something sounding off during the whole show, but I was like, I mean, we practiced twice. This is not a big deal, whatever. Turns out after, dude didn't even plug in his amp.
Oh, that's funny.
Didn't plug in his amp. So, and I was like, did you do that on purpose? Like, you should have told me, I would have helped you. He's like,
Yeah.
no, I didn't know any of the songs, so I figured I might as well just pretend to play.
Dude, he played it off well then.
Yeah,
That's
he just
so
vibed.
funny.
I was like, you know what? Good for you.
That's so funny. I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
I do remember I met Cameron, and it was the drummer you're referring to. Was that Tony?
Yeah, Tony, yeah.
I met them at an acoustic show once. I don't know if it was the one that we were doing or like, I just remember seeing Cameron there, and Tony had like that pizza tattoo.
Yep,
so I talked to him because of that. But Cameron said they had a band that was before, like probably like a week before you
I
joined.
think so.
And so like we had really similar music interests, and then you joined, and then like you got the momentum going for that band for sure. And so that's when I booked that one show. I was like, I need these guys because we need each other. I felt like at the time.
No, 100%. And Tony was a good drummer. He wanted to do like kind of neck deep kind of stuff. And I had met other people that wanted to play music, but like if I met anyone who wanted to play quote unquote heavier music, they wanted to be like Beartooth kind of. So yeah, I was really grateful when you made that other show, because I was like, I don't know who we're gonna play with or what we're gonna do. So yeah,
I remember there's a couple other bands, and like nothing against them, but it was you guys that I wanted
for sure
to do that with us. So let's fast forward. Is there anything else about that you want to talk about, that time frame, those shows that we played together?
No, I haven't thought about this in a while, so I'm like just starting to remember all of this. But no, that show is that. So when did you book that next show? I can't even remember. Was that months later?
I don't remember the timeline, to be honest with you.
Was that before the Bergfest?
Yes, that was before that.
Yeah, it was before Bergfest.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sometime in between there, because we didn't do the Battle of the Bands. Like I said, the band members weren't happy with me. I do remember most of them afterwards saying like, "Hey, we see what you're talking about now. Glad we didn't do that. That's kind of funny." It was just the excitement to want to play, which I get, and so like that's why I kind of took that on me to book that next show. And like I reached out to the people at the apartment complex, said, "Hey, like we want to do a show," so we worked things out with them. Got the rentals for the PA system, talked to the other bands. Like I got wristbands, so we knew who was part of the show and who wasn't, because I mean it's still like an open area.
Yeah, that was at Mountain Loves, right?
Yeah.
I'm only laugh right now because I remember, and I think I had only formally really met Mike.
Okay.
I think I'd met you guys in passing, but really formally like hung out with Mike, because I think at that time that was maybe right before he started playing bass for us actually.
Yeah.
But I remember showing up to Mountain Lofts like right when I think you guys said, "Hey, be there to set up," or whatever, and I didn't know who to meet.
Okay.
And I didn't know how professional the show was going to be.
Yeah. It's me, not professional.
Well, I was like, I like, honestly, the fact that you guys thought to even rent PA is more professional than I would have been. I would have plugged a microphone into a Fender amp.
Yeah.
But I showed up, and I remember Carlton like driving up, and Carlton, if you don't know him, looks like a dad. Like, you know what I mean?
He was.
And he was, exactly. So this guy shows up in a Verizon shirt with a PA in the back of his car. He's like, "Are you Christian? You're here to help set up?" And I was like, "Are you in high C?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm Carlton." I was like, "We're playing with you?" Honestly, I love Carlton to death. I thought he was going to be like an Amish cover band or something like that. It was just, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a show. This is going to be great."
It was a fun time, dude.
It was a great show, honestly.
I mean, we played to all of our girlfriends, and that was probably about it, right?
Yeah, but it was a fun time, and that like the fact that I think back like that apartment complex had no business letting us play there.
No,
it
they're
was super nice of them.
So cool, because you did another show after that. Like,
Yeah,
you
we
set up
played
another
with
one.
I'm Glad It's You there when they came in and toured, and it was another really great show. The space was just cool, and like I don't know how well it like muffled the sound. I'm sure all those apartments rattled.
Yeah, I would love to get somebody's perspective of like, I live down the hall, like I hate you guys.
Yeah,
Like, I was trying to study.
Yeah, no, that was a sick show though. I'm glad you took the initiative and did that. Rexburg needed more of that at the time, so that was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like, it seemed like you guys carried that on for a few months after I left, maybe a year or so. Like, High C kept going. That was the band I was in. Your band was in Carry On Kid.
Carry On. Yeah.
We haven't said that yet to this point, so shout out to Carry On Kid. You guys have some music still on Spotify, right?
We do. I think at our peak we had a couple thousand listeners. I think now we venture anywhere from like 50 to 100. There's still some.
Yeah.
We're on some. We got thrown on like an emo playlist that had a bunch of likes.
That's sick.
And so that's been carrying our torch. Like, we have a song Waterfall.
Nice.
And that one has, I think, our most by far, and that one has been carrying our listeners. But we still have. I have 2 T-shirts in my closet if anyone ever wants to buy them.
Reach out to Christian.
Yeah,
There's 2 shirts. What sizes are they?
Oh gosh, I think one of them might be a medium, and then one of them might be an XL. I gotta look.
So if you're really smaller, kind of on the taller, bigger side, we got a shirt for you.
100%.
Still some stickers though too.
Stickers. I think we might have a tape or 2. And the tapes and CDs have the intro track has like a special. It's not on Spotify, but the intro track has like a audio that we had taken from the movie Dead Poet Society.
Oh, cool.
So it's like a little like collector's item.
Yeah, I've only heard the Spotify version.
Yeah.
Unless Mike showed me this truck once.
Oh, maybe, yeah. I'll have to show it to you.
Okay.
Because we were on Hidden Home Records, shout out Rob. He was like it was ambiguous legally if he could put it on Spotify. He thought he would get taken down.
Yeah.
Same with why we changed one of our song names. That used to be like talk about Pokemon, and Tarzan is TAR-ZN because he had all these like legal things like we don't want to get any like cease and desist, and so because of that he took it off the Spotify thing, but it's on the tapes and stuff. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And there was a couple more shows that we played together back then. Idaho Falls. Any of those other ones you want to talk about?
Oh gosh, yeah. Let's see if we can go through the ones. Did we play the Berg together once?
No.
We never did. Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. I think we were the last band to play the Berg proper. I think they had us as like a full band, and we almost collapsed the top. We played an IF. Was that at the? Did we play the Gem together, or was it in the studio space?
I think it was the Sick House. No, it wasn't the Sick House. We played.
Played the Sick House, but I was on study abroad. How do you go to that? I wish I heard that.
It was the Gem we played at.
Yes, we played the Gem, which is shout out the Gem. That's a really sick venue that's not loved enough in Idaho Falls.
No, not at all.
It's a really cool venue.
And the ownership was really awesome. Like that's another one that I called, and they're just like, "Hey, if you want to do it, like it's on you. Like we'll provide the space, but you have to do everything else." And
yeah, they were so. And the guy who books through there, I don't know if he still does, but he tattoos now Johnny. He also DJs. He was so sick. He always included bands for Rexburg for random shows, and they've had like big acts like the guitarist. I'm gonna get slapped for this, but the guitarist of the Misfits, his like other band played there.
Okay.
I mean Big O or Otis Julius has played
he's played
there
there
plenty
several
of times.
Yeah.
But when we played, that was with Head Injuries, right?
Those Head Injuries.
That was a sick show.
They were touring, and that's why
Yeah.
we set that one up was for them.
Yeah, we could never get a lot of kids out to that one.
No, it was tough to get people out, and we had DJ Preston Lee who was the DJ of the
What
local.
a mixed bill.
Yeah, well, he was really cool because that was a good platform for us to like kind of let the community know what was going on. And then he did a set, his little rap set, and then he played Head Injury's song that day to kind of promote like, hey, come out to the show. These guys are going to be here. Yeah, it was really, really cool and to do all of that for us. I mean, like there was a group of people just coming together, providing whatever they could to put the show on. And that was a lot of fun for that one. But again, I think just to our girlfriends and like the people that worked there and a couple moms maybe, but there was not very many people there outside of the bands.
100%, yeah. But shout out the Gem, shout out DJ Preston Lee, shout out all this. Idaho Falls has like a lot of potential for a good scene. It just has a lot of cool punk people, I think. Like a lot of cool stories. Like, do you remember that band that Mark and it was called Trainwreck? Did you ever remember that band?
Trainwreck. I remember Trackside.
Oh, Trackside. Yes, Trackside. Like all those dudes were so sick.
Yeah.
Loved all those people.
A lot of them were in Madison Lights.
Yes.
Deaths of December. They all came from those bands, which
and some of them are still in bands. Like I think Mark and Sam, who had like the long beard, they're both in a hardcore band now called God Hand.
That's awesome.
Which is like blowing up in Southeast Idaho.
Yeah.
So just Cool dudes.
They're such great musicians, and I remember that first show at that venue that they wanted us to pay to play there. That first show with them, I think they were playing in trackside, and whoever was doing sound for them was just having a difficult time getting them dialed in. And they're like, just screw it, dude, we'll just play over our sound. And so they're like, Blair, go to the back. And so I went to the back of the venue, and they like did this quickest sound check of me just giving thumbs up, like, yep, I can hear you. Yep, I can hear you. And I was like, roll it, let's go.
Yeah.
And like, so there was no house sound. It was just all them. Cause they all had great equipment.
Oh,
like they were prepared for that. So
yeah, there was no venue. Like when they played and when Danny the Skeleton Horse played, whenever they played in Rexburg, it was like, there is no venue here that needs this big of amps, this big of bass cabs.
But they had it.
It was perfect.
They had it,
and
yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably why you and I can't hear anymore is from,
100%.
from those guys for sure.
Being in that venue, it's just, you have like these, I think like Trackside had like I don't even know if it was a 2x3 or like it was like 6. It was just the loudest thing I've ever heard. And Danny the Skeleton Horse, I mean, they have 3 people in their band. They're like one of the loudest bands I've ever heard.
That sounds like they have 50.
Yeah.
And there's like a slap in the face every time. It's
Yeah.
so fun to watch, though.
So good.
They're such a great band.
They're the best, yeah. So,
And
so
then,
sick.
unfortunately, I had to leave, but then I went down to Salt Lake and was
Yeah.
with a different band. And that was really cool that you guys came down twice and invited us out for those shows.
That was super fun. Yeah, our first tour, when we released our record, we came down, played with you guys at Beehive Social,
Yep.
right?
Yep. 666 State Street.
Yeah.
Can't forget
Cool
that
venue.
address.
Cool venue. Has you guys, did you set up on the stage? Or did
Yeah.
you play on the floor? You set up on
No,
the
we
stage?
said on stage.
The stage is super high, and there's a pole that goes right down the middle.
Right in the
I think
middle,
it
huh?
goes almost like you have to put your drum set off the middle a little bit. Maybe it's like kind of awkward.
Okay.
And I just remember not a lot of people came, which is fine. Like it's all good.
Just dads.
Yeah, it's a Friday night in Salt Lake. I'm sure there's other indie shows going on. It's fine. And then I remember in between sets, the owner would hit the quarter pipe. There was a half pipe, right?
Yep.
Quarter pipe,
Yep.
and he would skate during it.
Or yeah, and during like I feel like he was going during our
Oh,
set.
probably, yeah. I mean, yeah, sick.
Because I think there was a band before us, and then we came up, and there was a band after, and
Yeah.
then you guys, right? I want to say.
Yeah. Our friend, I really wanted to play with Eichlers, who is a friend of Rob.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, he was doing kind of like, it's a single man. He just had a guitar, an amp, and pedal board. And at the time, he was doing kind of like looping, kind of interesting stuff like
Yeah.
that, auto tune. And now he does like, he moved to California and he's gotten huge. He does like ska. It's not, I'm going to say it wrong. It's not ska techno, but it's like ska electronic.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, another dude who kind of, like we played with and is like kind of really big in that scene now. It's really interesting. But yeah, still a fun show, even though like no one really showed up. Really fun.
I mean, just for all of us to get together and hang out again, like
Yeah.
I had a blast. And I think I've told you this before. I don't know if you remember, but I was completely high that day. I woke up that morning with a bad toothache.
Oh, you did
My
tell me that.
mouth was like droopy. Like I was so swollen on one side. And so I ended up having a root canal that day. And so just a few hours before the show started, I got done. I was starving. I ate a bean and cheese burrito from Taco Bell because it was soft and I needed something
Oh
to
my
eat.
gosh.
So yeah, I don't remember a whole lot. I mean, I remember it, but like I can't tell you how the show went. That was our first show with the band that I was in at the time.
Cheshire.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So we had just got together. I think mostly we just did cover songs because like I think we only had 2 songs of our own. So I think we did 5-6 songs, and so just 2 songs of our own because we had just started as a band.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I was not okay, dude. I was in so much pain.
You know what was cool though? Like I think it was almost a year later when we played the second show with you guys in Provo, and you guys had improved a ton. You guys had like full set written.
We had a full set. We had a
Absolutely.
different bassist, which that helped a lot, having somebody that wanted to be in the
Yeah,
band
yeah,
and participate. And he brought a song.
Yeah.
That's Tyler I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
he brought one of his own songs, so that helps improve our set that we had. But for me, like that was a really cool situation because Mark, whose house we practice at, he comes from a really musical family.
Yeah.
So we would practice at his dad's house. He had this like food storage type basement, like an auto finished basement. Like I couldn't stand up straight in it, but they let me leave my drum set there.
Oh, that's
And so we could go
sick.
practice whenever. Like his grandparents lived in the house and they're from Peru and they were in this traveling Peruvian band. So like all of them love music. So it didn't matter what time I'd go over there. Like just play, dude. Like, and I know you could hear it throughout the whole house because we wouldn't
Yeah.
turn down. Like they just let us play. So like that's what the difference was, playing there.
Dude, that's so cool.
And then, musicians that actually wanted to be in bands and took the time to do so.
Dude, when you're in college, the most like the hard like in college or right after college, that age, the hardest 2 things about being in a band is like being in a band, like finding people that want to be in a band
Yeah.
and take it as serious or as not serious as you want to, and finding a place to freaking practice.
Practice is always the hard part.
So stressful.
Yep.
So I remember, I mean, we got to a point in Carry On Kid, we were practicing in Carlton's in-laws hangar.
Yep.
where High C would
I
practice.
spent many hours in there. Yeah.
I remember walking, and I didn't know there was a plane in there until you told me like a couple months ago.
There was like 5 planes in there.
Crazy. It was dark, and I was like, listen, this is incredible that they're letting us do this. Shout out to them. That show was sick though. That second one we played in Provo.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It was a ton
packed.
of people. We played with Wicked Bears.
Wicked Bears, yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny. You were kind of hurt and injured for that first show. That show, the night before, we had played a show in Rexburg.
Okay.
It was the biggest show we'd ever played.
Uh-huh.
Like, I won't say the band we played with.
Okay.
But we went up second to last. We were supposed to be last, but we went second to last because it was like a mini tour kickoff.
Okay.
Rob opened up, and then we played, and then after we played, we got called for an encore.
Oh, nice.
Which, like, that doesn't ever happen. So we played, and during the encore, we played a song from our first EP that we never played, and I was just feeling the vibes in it, and I threw my guitar and went into the pit with everyone, and I took I don't know if it was a foot or something to the nose, and it was bad. Like, it was crooked. I mean, I think that's why it's crooked right here, but and then the next band came up, and they didn't get encored, and he was like,
ooh,
he was not happy.
ouch.
Yeah, he was really pissed. But anyway, so
But
we were what?
You were the local guys. They knew you.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we were flying high. We were super stoked. And then that night when we played with you guys in Provo, I was in so much pain. I think I took like 6 ibuprofen, so I was kind of out of it too.
That's funny.
But yeah, that show was sick. That was a cool venue. That dude let us use his shed.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still around, but was it some guy's garage or some guy's shed? That's what it was called.
Yeah, on the poster it said like some dude's shed or some dude's garage.
Yeah, I don't think it's around because I have another friend that I've met that he played shows during that same time, and he played a show there. And so I asked, like, because he's living back in Utah now. I was like, is that still around? He's like, I haven't heard anything going on there for a while. But it was so cool. I mean, it was tiny, but it was so much fun.
Was that your only show in Provo you've ever played?
We played the Underground in Salt Lake, but in Provo, I think that's the only one.
Yeah, we've never played, like, I think we've tried to go and play like the Velour. But, is that what it's called in Provo?
Yeah.
Didn't go well.
That's not their. That goes back to that whole genre we're trying to describe. That's their bread and butter.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't. I think they listened to our music maybe and were like, the BPMs are too high.
Yeah, you gotta have a fiddle, dude.
Yeah, exactly. We need a different stringed instrument. So no, the only other show we played in Provo was also sick. It was the end of that one tour I was talking about, and we played a house show. It was like someone's sunroom, right? Like a block or two off campus. It was packed. It was a super sick show. And I like the girls whose house it owned. It was like a friend of a friend of a friend. I didn't know them very well.
Okay.
And she was like, I bought her pizza. They were so stoked. They're like, oh, we didn't want you guys to. We just wanted to listen to your music. And I was like, well, here's 3 extra large pizzas. You're welcome. They were super sick. But yeah, I think Provo has a good punk scene now, from what I understand. But I just wish it would have been big when we were there.
For sure. Cool. Yeah, like we could have gone down there so easy.
Oh yeah.
We did go, when I was with High C, we did go down to the Y Sound in Logan.
Yeah, we played there before. That's a cool place too.
It was really cool. And like, same thing, super nice guys, a lot of fun. Small, but really cool.
Yeah, we went there and they gave us a tour of they had like a studio up top.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't want to you can cut this too if you want to. There may have been some drug dealing going on when we were in there. There was some sketchy stuff going on.
I got to pay for the rent somehow.
Yeah, I was like, hey. And during the day, it's like a record store, which is kind of cool.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah, like, you know where the stage is. So when we got there a few hours early, and there were records everywhere that people were coming in and buying. And
okay.
So anyway.
So when I went up there, it's after I moved out of Idaho, so I was living in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
And so the day of, my truck didn't start.
Oh.
So I spent a couple hours going to the parts store, getting my truck ready.
Wow.
So I drove up there, threw my drum set up, and played like there was no time to.
I guess you didn't stretch.
I guess me and show days just don't work out.
That's so funny.
I'm never going to be a band again now, I know.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny. What a fun time.
But yeah, you keep giving these shout outs. We got to give Mike and Penny for letting us go to their house and practice in the airplane hangar, dude.
That was so kind of them.
So kind.
So kind, yeah.
Before that, they would let us set up in the basement of their house. Penny had a daycare preschool type thing. Yeah. And so we would set up on these foam mats, and there's awesome. All these ABCs in the background, and we play down there.
Dude, that would be perfect for a hardcore venue, is to get a bunch of those so no one gets hurt. You know what they also did? I remember it was after you left. High C wanted to do like a legitimate tour.
Okay.
And they wanted a Carry On Kid too, and we had a van because Curtis had a van, a drummer at the time. But do you remember, or did you hear that Mike and Carlton bought a van that barely worked?
I don't think so.
Okay, so they bought a van.
Okay.
I may have been $100. Like, it was that bad.
Good deal.
And they finally got it working, and I was hanging out with Mike and Carlton at his in-laws' house. I can't remember. So we were somewhere, but that's where the van was. And we got in. We're like, let's go take a little test run. We'll go grab some pizza and come back. So they're in the front, and it's like a painter's van, just like any other band van. And I'm in the back, and I can see the ground under me. Like, there's a huge hole. And it's right like where the engine exhaust comes out. Mm-hmm. And I am just getting pelted with carbon monoxide.
So good, yeah.
We get to Papa John's, and I'm like tripping balls. I have no idea where I am. I'm like, we cannot take this on tour.
No.
But hey,
you guys would have died.
Shout out Carlton's in-laws for letting. I think that's where they put the van. Yeah.
It's probably still there in the front yard.
Honestly, I guarantee it's still there. So fun.
Yeah, they're the nicest people, the best.
Seriously.
Carlton's whole family, great people.
Yeah.
All right, so that sums that up, right? We're good there. So then fast forward a few years. We get old, we get married, we go a different direction. You guys end out here and you're in Virginia. I just call it the DC area. That's where we're at right now. Thanks for having me at your house. I appreciate it. It's been a fun trip. Went to the caves yesterday. Those were sick. Yeah. Got to go to the Mark Hoppus book tour.
That was cool.
We saw the Warped Tour band. Do you want to talk about that at all?
That was fun, yeah. We went to... Okay, let's start with this. It was a cover band Warped Tour tribute night. So there was a Green Day cover band called Dookie. There was a Blink cover band called All the Blink Things, and then there was the Warped Tour band that played probably a 40-song set. It was awesome. The only thing that was concerning is looking around. I was like, do I look as old as these people? Like, I either got into the music scene way late, or I am as old as these people, and that's concerning. It was fun though. They threw in that sick little like. They did the intro of that Chiodo song. They threw it into like a verse or a bridge.
It's Taking Back Sunday during the bridge part. That was really fun.
Yeah, it was a good time. I liked it.
Creative. Yeah, it was a good time. I didn't know what to expect, but I've never had so much fun with the cover band. It was a blast.
Well, and they were good too. Like, they were actually talented. The drummer was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I liked the Blink band was like, they didn't just play the songs, like they kind of did the commentary too, which was funny. It was sick.
Yeah, they took on the whole Mark, Tom, and Travis show live aspect and tried to do that, which it was pretty funny. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I liked it.
But you're talking about the age. I realized when we were there, like the age range was anywhere from 8 to 80.
Yeah.
Like when we first came in, that guy that was by you.
Sold.
I mean, he's seen some shit. Like, he's been in some wars for sure.
Yeah. Well, there was that family in front of us and like had her kids there, and the kids looked stoked when Green Day was on, the Green Day cover band, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that. Like, everybody can come have a good time. And we did. Like, I had a blast. Great. So then a couple years ago, I come out here for the first time to hang out with you guys, and that was for a Blink concert.
Yeah.
So you didn't grow up listening to Blink?
No, I mean, not more than like All the Small Things, Damn It, that kind of stuff. I mean, I will say the one Blink song I always did like was Stay Together for the Kids.
Okay.
When I remember early on when I was learning guitar, I taught myself that was a song that someone recommended on the forum as like, hey, it's not too hard, but it helps with like alternate picking, helps with power chords. So I was like, oh, man, it's a good song. It's sad. I kind of felt like because I only knew Blink for like weird songs. Okay. Not weird songs, but like not so serious songs, right? And I was like, oh, this is like a very serious song about like divorce and broken homes and stuff. So yeah, I liked that. So yeah, going to Blink as a non-Blink fan.
Yeah. So what was your experience like with that?
Let's say I loved it.
Okay, good.
For a couple of reasons. The venue was interesting and cool. We went to Hershey Park. So we started the day off. You know, it's like a 3-hour drive, whatever. We started the day off going to Hershey World and going to like seeing all the candy and chocolate. So you're already getting pumped for the day. You're getting caffeinated by the chocolate.
Or lack thereof. We did not get chocolate. Lack thereof.
We did get screwed on that ride.
We made really screwed.
We waited in line and got stuck on that ride where the cows were singing.
It just over and over.
Yeah, I mean, did they give us chocolate after?
No, we didn't get any. I'm pissed.
Yeah, we should write a letter to them because that seems wrong.
I'm not writing a letter. They're going to hear this. They're going to know that I'm not okay.
Yeah, they will.
We were stuck on the ride for an hour. They got everybody off. We were the last ones off, and nobody gave us chocolate.
I don't remember them being very apologetic either.
Not in the slightest.
I don't think they cared.
No, they did not care. And then what was really funny was after all of that, like, because we sat on there for 20, 30 minutes for real.
Yeah.
And then once we got off, we went through like some back door, and then right afterwards, they're like, oh, the ride's starting back up. Do you guys want to go back on?
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely not. That's the worst experience.
That's
of my
so
life.
funny. Honestly, we're lucky we got there early. We could have missed like the opening band
If we would have been stuck
on that stupid ride.
on the ride when the bands were playing.
Oh my gosh! But I mean, other than that, like the venue was weird. It was like a stadium kind of.
Yeah.
But it was really cool because it was like it felt very nonchalant, very relaxed. Turnstile was sick. I don't remember the first band very well.
I think it was White Reaper.
Is that what they're called?
I think so.
I remember them being fairly talented, but just not my cup of tea.
No, they were good. I
Yeah.
think they have a song that was produced by Mark, and so I want to say that's how that
makes
connection was made. But yeah, Turnstile, that was my first time seeing them. What about for you?
It was my first time too.
Okay.
It was weird to see them from so far away,
Yeah.
but man, you could still feel the energy, which I think says a lot about a band.
For sure.
The pit was sick. Where we were sitting, it was clear we were probably the only people that knew them, besides
Yeah.
people that were in the pit. But
Yeah.
I think people were impressed. I thought they played a great show. It made me want to go see them again, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I'm really excited to see them again. What do you think about their new song?
First time I listened to it, I was like, I mean, this sounds like a B-side of the last record, but I think you made a good point, and the more I thought about it, it's the first song on the record if you look at the track list. I imagine it's probably like, I mean, they're obviously very thematic with how they do things, and you can tell there's a build-up at the end, so I imagine that this is like kind of a transition of this last album into whatever this is going to be now. I mean, I trust them. I think they're good musicians. They haven't had a bad record, in my opinion, yet. And they don't give me the vibe that they're going to change and like not, so all of a sudden not be hardcore, not be punk.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
I'm really excited too, and I like that you said it's like a transition song to the next album, because that's pretty much how I feel. Like the build up at the end, you know something's coming. And I'm really excited to hear
And
more of it.
If you look at their discography, like, I mean, I think 3 of their records, maybe 2 or 3. Like every record is different, so that makes me think that they're not going to stop doing that just because this one had the most commercial success. I imagine I remember Time and Space is a lot different than Glow On. Like just one of them is a lot more kind of old school hardcore, and this one's kind of newer age hardcore. So I could see them maybe blending the two or doing something completely out of left field mixed with. I mean, they clearly have a lot of hip hop and pop like aspects and influence.
Yep.
But I don't think. I mean, they all still play in hardcore bands. I mean, like the singer's still in. I think he drums at Angel Dust or Trapped Under Ice. I think so. Yeah, I'm excited.
Drug Church?
Drug Church?
Is it Angel Dust?
Angel Dust.
Okay.
Yeah, all those 2 Baltimore hardcore bands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, we were the only ones in our little area that were going crazy for them. And I just remember telling you probably every song, like, I wish we were closer. I wish we were up front. Like, we deserve that for them because nobody was enjoying them where we were sitting. But
No, everyone was there with Blink. But Blink was sick, I have to say. I knew less songs than I thought I did. I think the set was long, but a couple things that impressed me. One thing that really impressed me, honestly, I thought that because they're so silly that would get in the way of their musicianship. 100% doesn't.
yeah,
They are first and foremost musicians, and then second they are entertainers. But I think they still take it. I was so impressed by like the theatrics on stage. Like when we saw them the second time, when Aliens Exist plays, like all the stuff they do, I think is so sick. They clearly they know how to joke around and take things easy, but they are very serious musicians, which I was really impressed with. So,
yeah.
It was like a 9 out of 10 experience. I thought it was really awesome.
That's a good rating.
Yeah, it was really good.
And me, of course, being a huge Blink fan, like I feel like I can just focus on this topic and just keep going. But I did notice from the first time you saw them, like, of course, you're Mr. Positive. Like you said some really good things. Like you made the best out of the situation. Like, and thanks for coming with us, like
awesome.
supporting my addiction, right? But the second time we went, it seemed like your experience was a lot better. Like you enjoyed it a lot more. Like you kind of knew what to expect, so you had a better time. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, I had listened to music more. I did like their new One More Time. I liked that record a lot. I like the themes in it. I really like the Anthem Part 3 in it. I like that we were a little bit closer, even though we were still a bit far away, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I knew them more, and instead of like me coming to the realization of like, oh, they're really good musicians, I knew that going like at the first when we went to the second show. So like I just focused on like kind of the vibe of the show and everything, and I was very impressed by the musicianship. Yeah, I love that they also played like. I think they played Bad Brains before their set or something, or maybe after their set.
We were trying to guess what song they were going to play after.
Yeah, which is I love. I mean, they all have one thing I love about them. I love when the musicians like respect the pioneers of their genre, and I think they do a really good job of that. Like the way they talk about Fugazi, the way Travis talks about Minor Threat, Youth of Today, all those. So yeah, I think it's sick.
It was a fun fun time, good show. Tried to mix that into one word. Pierce the Veil opened for them.
That was interesting. I never had seen them before.
That was fun.
I thought they were impressive. I mean, that drummer, the guy who used to drum in Let Live, is maybe the best drummer I've ever seen live.
We saw the two best drummers that night.
Yeah,
on the same stage.
For sure.
It was a lot of fun. Now, I'm curious of your experience with a different show, a show that I've never been to, probably never will go to.
Okay.
But you get to say that you've seen the great Taylor Swift.
Oh, that is true.
I want to hear your experience with that.
That is true. Let's talk about the show. So, let me first say, when you see Taylor Swift, you are not going to a concert. It's like you're going to a Broadway show. Right?
Okay.
Everything is calculated with what she does. It's very meticulous. So if you go into it that way and enjoy it for what it is as a show, I think anyone can like it.
Okay.
Because it's like you're watching a production. You're not just watching a concert. So this is what I'll say. The only part of that show I didn't like, and I'm gonna get hate for this from Danielle and other people, her fans are insane.
Okay.
Crazy.
Uh-huh.
That is to say that, like, there were people acting in such a way where I was like you need to chill, like screaming. I mean, I understand singing at a concert, screaming the lyrics, like
crying.
you can hear crying.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have really good seats. We were okay. We were like kind of side stage, a tiny bit behind. We could see most of the stage. People were crying like they were touching her. I will say this, and this is a move. If anyone who's going to her next show, I'll tell you one thing I did, one thing I wish I did. One thing I did, get merch during her set.
Yep.
If you're with your significant other, there was no line. I did not have to wait in the hour line. 2, and this is an idea I had before and I didn't do it and I regret it. I thought about, if I had gotten there earlier, to take orders from people. Be like, listen, here's my Cash App. You tell me what you want.
Yep.
And I'm going to go get it during her set and I will come back with whatever you want and I will just take orders. I could have, if I would have done even if I wouldn't have to, no service fee, just take a tip. Yeah, I would have been like one of those things, like 15, 18, 20%. I think I would have paid for our tickets.
Oh, for sure.
So, yeah.
It's funny. I don't know if you've said this before or subconsciously got in my mind, but when I was talking with Danielle, that's exactly what I said. Is there's a business model there.
There's a business. So the show was cool. I don't necessarily want to do it again. I will if Danielle wants to do it and she doesn't have anyone to go with. But it was cool. It was cool to do it in Philly. We went and saw that the Eagles play. And
that's cool.
Yeah, it was a cool time. Like I said, probably wouldn't do it again. Can't mosh to her music. I mean, I guess you could.
Yeah.
There was a pit.
You could try.
There was certainly a pit, and people looked rambunctious.
I mean, I see you still got your bracelets on.
True. That part was cool. Like I said, like they had bracelets that lit up the whole thing, and she has some bangers. She does have some bangers, and I purposely bought a shirt beforehand that said Taylor Swift in metal letters and letter lettering. In the back was a picture of her, like it almost looks like she's on a stage with a huge pit, and it's the lyrics like, it's gonna be forever, or it's gonna go down in flames, whatever. Which is like super metal.
Nice.
So, yeah, I love that shirt. I still wear it to the gym all the time.
The front of that shirt, when you're at the show, did people recognize what it said? Could they tell what it said?
I probably look like such a curse jackass. Dude, they could recognize, but I don't know what I was like. I think I was feeling rambunctious or rebellious. I wore that short, I wore what I would wear to a hardcore show. So I wore that shirt, super short, like shorts that I could spin kick in, and then just like short, like Vans with no socks.
Looking good.
And I was ready to spin kick.
Yeah.
But yeah, people, I either got really like sick shirt, love it, or like, who?
Why are you
I
here?
probably look like Danielle's gay best friend. I mean, to be honest, but yeah.
You still do.
Yeah, I do sometimes. That's fair.
So we talked about Carry On Kid. I want to know more about the bands that you're in beforehand, and like even before that, like who got you into music? How did you get into music? What did you? Because I'm gonna say this. I think people think that I know a lot about music, which I would like to say I do. Like I love music. Like that's why we're doing this right now.
Yeah.
You know way more about music than I do.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, you do. Like you know about bands, where they're from, what other bands they're in, and how they got started, what record label they're on. Like you know. Well, yeah, that's what we're both full of. So let's talk about what got you into music.
Yeah, I mean, how far back you want to go?
As far back as you want to go. Once you heard Creed, that's what it was, right?
Oh my gosh, you're not far off. I mean, I grew up in a very musical house. My grandmother is a phenomenal musician, phenomenal pianist. She sang in like the church choir. There's like a Motab, or I guess it's called Tab Cats now. The Motab, but for this area, for the DC area. Okay. She was in it. So we grew up with music. I grew up taking piano lessons. Hated it so much. My mom loved R&B. If you meet my mom, you'd think, oh, this is like a Creed woman, or this is like a Chris Stapleton, like love. But no, she loves like Notorious B.I.G. She loves, like I can't even think. She loves like all like rap and R&B from the 80s and 90s. Okay?
I have met your mom, and I would not you would expect that.
Okay, so that's that. And then I have my grandfather who loves the Bee Gees. Like that's his favorite band of all time. So that was what I grew up on. You know, you listen to the radio, and so I'd listen to like some radio music. I liked, there were some like rock songs. I liked Gavin DeGraw when I was like a little kid. I really liked, I had uncles that loved Maroon 5, like Songs About Jane when that came out. So I remember as a little kid loving Songs About Jane. That was probably the first like, I mean, is it a rock album? Yeah, it's a rock album, I guess. That I listened to, and I was like, oh, I kind of dig this as a little kid. Anyway, so I moved to Texas, and I come back to visit my friend here. And her older brother at the time had just graduated high school, and he knew that I was interested in music. So he's like, I'm gonna show you some real music, like man music. Okay. So he introduced me, like he starts me off easy with Under Oath.
Yeah, easy. Yeah,
Easy.
obviously
that
easy.
That was the first band in alternative music I listened to. And I tell you, my mind was blown. I was like, I mean, I think it was their only Chasing Safety, or I don't even remember what he first showed me. Okay. He went from that. The second band he showed me, I don't know if you know this band. The Number 12 Looks Like You.
No,
okay?
I don't.
They're a screamo band.
Okay.
He showed me a cover of My Sharona, but it's screamo.
Oh, nice.
And it was unbelievable. I was just blown away. I was like, I didn't know people could just scream into microphones. So those were the first two bands besides like radio pop and rock hits that I ever listened to, and I was hooked.
Nice.
Right from there, I started listening. I would just be like, I need to listen to more heavy music. Like I need to. So he would just give me lists of bands. Like I said, I Set My Friends on Fire, The Number 12 Looks Like You, Under Oath, and then he was like other hardcore bands that were kind of older, Hatebreed, Metallica, of course, Obituary, just like all these kind of older metal bands. He was a huge System of a Down fan, so I instantly fell in love. He played drums too, and I would sit in the basement and he would play Toxicity, which is one of the coolest drums ever. And honestly, like what an underrated drummer in System of a Down. But so he would play all that, and he would like, I think he was in a hardcore band or something. I was like 10 or 9 at the time, so I didn't even know what hardcore meant, to be honest. And he was straight edge. Okay. Which I was like, I didn't know what that was. Yeah. So he taught me what straight edge was, and I was like, this is me. I'm so sick. I'm gonna be straight edge. Yeah. As a 10-year-old, okay, yeah, every 10-year-old straight edge. But I just remember being so like fond of it, and I thought it was so cool. So,
what was it about it that spoke to you? Like, what grabbed you into the harder, heavier stuff?
I don't know, dude. It was just like it was violent in a good way. I liked that it was violent. I have always had this, like, I don't know if it's like a natural punk gene. I think some people have, and I certainly have it, where like if everyone's doing something that's the normal, you want to do whatever the opposite is. I don't know if it's for attention. It probably is in my case, but I just liked that it was different. I liked that I had something that I liked that other people didn't know about it or care about. So I loved it. And then from there, like, to find music, I would like look at MySpace, like what was related to that, or I would look at tour posters and see who are people touring with. Compilations were big at the time. Like that's how I found Pianos Behind the Teeth. They were on some compilation CD. So that's how I got into music. And then eventually, that led into more like pop punk stuff and emo. Taking Back Sunday, I loved to death. I liked Brand New. I liked all that kind of stuff. And then I also ended up liking, I loved bands from Baltimore. I thought bands where I grew up were so cool. So like I learned about The Dangerous Summer. I loved them. I loved All Time Low, Have Mercy later on. Just all these bands that were Angel Dust, Trapped Under Ice, all these Baltimore bands, Fugazi and DC. I just really learned to love them. So I ended up, when I was like maybe 13, starting my first band. I played drums. Nice. And we really didn't know how to write music yet, as most people don't in their first band. So we covered Poppin' Champagne by All Time Low and The Kill by 30 Seconds to Mars.
Such a good one.
Good. Hard to play on drums when you're 14 or 13. But yeah, we did that. And, I don't even think we had a name. Okay. I don't know. It may have been Delayed Reaction. Maybe that sounds right. But a couple years later, maybe when we were 15, that band had dispersed, and we made another band. It was kind of remnants of that band, but this time it was a 4-piece. I brought my friend in from the other side of town, and that band was my friend Julian played drums. I played lead guitar actually, which I cannot play lead guitar. I don't know. That shows how bad we were at instruments. I was playing the lead guitar. My friend Jesse played rhythm and sang, and then we had my friend Nick, who we practiced in his garage, and that band was sick. We were called the Clutch Theory. We had bracelets and merch.
Nice.
That was like the first we felt legit. Like we were playing shows. We played in 2 Battle of the Bands in downtown Dallas. We played in Deep Ellum. We wrote our own music. We did the singer loved Arctic Monkeys at the time, like old Arctic Monkeys. So we did Arctic Monkeys covers. We did Cage the Elephant. So it wasn't really pop punk. It was like kind of a mix of pop punk and alternative rock. And we loved playing music. We wrote one song called The Good Old Days, which is so funny to think of that a 15-year-old writes a song called The Good Old Days. But
deep.
But there was like a radio DJ at one of our shows, and he was like, if you guys record that, let me know. I'd love to put that on the radio. And I was like, oh, sick.
Nice.
I would love to do that.
That's really cool of him.
Never got onto it. Our band broke up like weeks later. Just
Over a girl?
no, we just went separate ways. Honestly, I think it more came down to we didn't have time to practice. I do fondly remember we were trying to book shows, and it was like maybe my junior year of high school, and we booked my friend's backyard. Like we were gonna play his backyard, and
Nice.
we invited. We probably talked to 200-300 people at the school. We ended up having like 200 or 300 people coming. It was a huge show in the
That's
backyard.
awesome.
I'll have to find some pictures to show you later, but maybe it was less. Maybe it was more like 100, but it was a lot for his backyard. And I remember we drove around to other like apartment complexes around him to tell them like, hey, please don't call the cops on us. Please don't call the cops on us. We're gonna be playing music. We'll start early. We even called the police and we're like, hey, just so you know, we're going to be playing music. If you get any calls, people screaming, it's just us. And I remember I skipped football practice, and I just remember having so much anxiety playing that show because my phone was ringing. So like the entire time. And so halfway through the show, like we were taking a water break, pulled out my phone, and I had like 10 missed calls from my coach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he like, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And I'm like, oh my gosh. But so that was a really fun show. And then after that, I don't think we played music again. And for the rest of high school, I just played my own music.
Yeah, you had your own project, right?
I had my own project called Party at Gatsby's. Stupid name, but I mean, I'm proud of it. I did all my own music, all
Nice.
acoustic, looping stuff, and then I kind of like I did like a harmonica too. It was very reminiscent of like honestly if Taking Back Sunday did like just an acoustic album. That was
Cool.
kind of what it was.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I like booked my own shows. I played at coffee houses. I played at in
Strip
Deep
clubs.
Ellum. Strip club. I did play at a place called the Profit Bar. Shout out to the Profit Bar downtown in Dallas. Played in some Battle of the Band. So that's what I did, and
Right on.
I loved it. Yeah, it was sick. So after that, like after my mission, when I came back, I was like, I knew I wanted to play music again. Like I didn't want to do anything else.
So yeah, was there anything during that time, Great Gatsby, To Carry On Kid? Was there any other projects?
When I came back from my mission for like 6 months, I tried to write music. I like made a Facebook page and started writing music under the name Nothing to Envy. It was a book that I liked, but not really. I just wrote a lot.
Cool.
Like I wanted to be in a full band. I just didn't know people who played instruments. Like my high school,
Yeah.
no one listened to the music I like. Like not really, especially hardcore. I did not know a single person listen to hardcore music. I mean, some people listened to All Time Low.
Okay.
There was a couple kids who listened to like Scary Kids Scaring Kids.
That's kind of heavy. I mean,
Yeah, I mean it was heavier, but like, you know, I'm going to like hardcore shows.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I took a friend to that like the Suppy tour with The Story So Far, and like that was too heavy for him.
Oh yeah,
He's
that's
like,
not
this is
that
cool,
bad at
but
all.
it's like loud. I'm like, he thought Citizen was like a screamo band.
Not at all.
No, not at all. So it a good time, like, but no one. It's funny because in the class above me, so I graduated 13, and in 2012, that graduating class was the band Polyphia. If you don't know them, which they're huge now.
Yeah.
And I didn't know them. I had met the guitarist Tim once because my friend was friends with him, and I remember him, like our friend being like, "Oh yeah, Christian's in a band. Tim, you're also in a band." And I remember being like, "That's sick. Like we should hang out sometime."
Yeah.
Never happened. And then years later, I'm like, "That's Tim.
That's
That's
funny.
Polyphia," and they
Yeah.
have millions and millions of listeners on Spotify. He has his like signature guitar.
Right on. Good for him.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I wish that would have been sick, but
Missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity, 100%.
So what about now, man? If you were gonna be in a band today,
Yeah.
what kind of music would it be? What would you be playing or contributing to the band?
Oh my gosh, great question. I dream of this. Being an adult, it's hard to play music. You're just busy, but
Being or acting like?
acting like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to be in a hardcore band.
Okay.
Like, first and foremost, I think that would be my number one thing. Second, I'd love to be in like I know it's boring. A pop punk band would be great. I just don't have the energy for being in a pop punk band. So I'd love to be in like a shoegaze band, but like more like emo, kind of like Downward, like that kind of music.
Yeah.
And I'd love to play bass.
Bass.
That's like my dream.
Mm-hmm.
It's so chill.
Yeah.
I think I've had so many bassists in projects I've worked in that weren't good. Not Mike. Mike, you're a great bassist. But other projects I've been in, or I've jammed with people, and like,
yeah.
If you have a good bassist, unfortunately, you don't notice it all the time. You can,
Okay. Yeah.
but not all the time. You can notice a bad bassist.
Yeah.
Very, very prevalently, and I'm like, I can do it well. Like, I don't have to be classically trained to like make sure it's good. So I would love to play bass in a band.
Bass, shoegaze, or hardcore bands.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
So now the other thing I want to know is, it sounds like music came first, but when did skateboarding come into your life?
Skateboarding. Gosh, I don't even remember who got me into skateboarding. It was probably Tony Hawk.
Obviously,
I mean, like everyone.
Because you knew him personally.
Yeah, I knew him personally. I was on a plane with him once. I will say I think Tony Hawk Underground 1 and 2
Okay.
were life changing for me. American Wasteland 2 a little bit. Thug 2, when you were playing as the Jackass characters, there was something about like being Benjamin Franklin skating around Boston. I was like, this is so sick. Listening to like, I think MXPX may have been on that one. There was like
Rage
some
Against the
sick band.
Machine.
Rage Against the Machine was on that. There was some sick music. Goldfinger was on there, and so I was just like, dude, punk music and like doing this is sick. I want to go skate. So I remember getting my first skateboard. It was probably some crappy thing from Walmart or something, and skated and ended up getting a nicer one, and I would take it everywhere. I'd come back and visit friends in Maryland, and I would bring my skateboard. And my friends and I, like the summer before high school, like those are formative years. Every day that summer that people were in town, we'd go and skate this place called the Bank, and it was this bank that was operating, but the back they never used. It was this perfect concrete.
Cool.
And we had built, and by built I mean we had like basically like super glued bricks and super good a railing on it. So we had like a rail, we made a ramp. It was like all this kind of cool stuff, and it was phenomenal.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean it goes hand in hand, but yeah, so I started skating then, and don't skate anymore. I mean, kind of, but it's hard to. But
yeah, you had a crappy board first, but what was your first real board that you got?
Oh my gosh. Okay, the first one my mom bought for me that was nice was an Element. It was a Bam Margera.
Nice.
This is Element 1, which I liked.
Good shape.
The first one I bought with my own money. He was my favorite skater, and I was so stoked to buy it because I saw it at Zoomies. It was a Jason Dill Alien Workshop board.
Nice.
And I remember the guy telling me, he's like, dude, you're so smart to get an Alien Workshop boards. They pop higher than Element. They pop higher than the Baker boards. If you're not getting like an Alien Workshop or a girl board, you're doing it wrong. And I was like, this guy was like 17. He didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm going to be the best skateboarder of all time.
He built your confidence
It
up.
built my confidence
I love
up
it.
so much. And I remember I just love Jason Dill. I love the way he skated. I love the Alien Workshop board. It was either that or I almost got I ended up getting it. But the other board I really wanted, do you remember Terry Kennedy?
I don't.
He skated for Ice Cream. It was like those ice cream boards. Yeah, I thought those were sick too.
Yeah.
But
Pretty cute. I would have guessed Grind is what got you into skateboarding if I
oh
would
my
have
gosh,
put my money on something.
That was probably the same time, honestly.
Okay.
But I think I had known skateboarding because I knew Ryan Sheckler and stuff like that. But oh my gosh, dude, we've been talking about that movie a ton while you've been here.
It's such a good one.
It's just like people don't talk about it enough.
Not enough. No.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
All right. So I want to know a couple definitions from you.
Okay.
First definition I want to know is your definition of punk.
Oh my gosh, you asked this question before, and it's kind of hard.
What does it mean to you? What's your definition?
Yeah. I talked about that like gene that people have where they just feel like they want to do whatever the opposite of the norm is.
Yeah.
So I think to me that's what it is. Punk is like this attitude to be different.
Okay.
And I think that can sometimes have a negative connotation. Like you look at punk kids and they do things that are bad. Like
yeah.
Like if there's peace, then they bring turmoil or whatever. Like they bring panic type of a thing.
I like that.
But I think it can be used for the good. Like if you see a lot of bad in the world, it's punk to do good.
For sure.
Like I think of one of the most punk rock people, I think, not to be political, is Bernie Sanders, because he gets a lot of flack for his stances, but he stands firm in what he is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people. I mean, Blink honestly might be the most punk band because, like, I mean, you see them live and like the stuff that they say is heinous.
Yeah.
Very, very, very heinous. And they're on the radio.
Uh-huh.
And they're like pop. They are pop culture.
Yeah.
Like that is punk to me.
Yeah, for sure.
They don't change regardless of what happens. So I
Yeah.
think that's it.
Yeah. And then what about emo? What's your definition of emo?
There's a copy pasta on Reddit someone will want me to use, but to me, emo is emotional hardcore. So
Okay.
it's the like that's the obviously the actual definition of it, but it's not the hot topic emo. Emo is. I don't like when people are like, oh, that's 100% emo. No, that's an emo band. That's not an emo band. Even though I do that sometimes. In reality, I think emo is just the emotion that comes with punk.
Okay.
So it's anything that is considered punk that also has some sort of emotion in it,
Okay.
or more specifically is emotionally driven. So
Yeah.
not necessarily just has emotion, but it's emotionally driven. So you think of like, I mean, bands like Fugazi, obviously that was like an early kind of emo or alt band, or like people say Taking Back Sunday is emo, and they have songs that are emo and
Yeah.
are not emo. To me, it's like that aggression that's in hardcore, but it's channeled into just the emotional aspect of it. So, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of hard, but yeah.
I like
it's a
it.
feeling, it's a vibe.
I like how you added it off of punk as well.
Yeah, it's 100% an aspect of punk, I think, for sure.
Are you more punk or more emo?
Or punk rock. That's a hard question. I don't know. What are you?
I don't know. I think people on the outside could tell me. I think you personally like more of the emo
Yeah.
culture and
For sure.
music and whatnot.
Yeah, and that's for the listeners. That's not eyeliner. That's not what we're talking about.
Tight jeans.
Yeah. Well, I do rock a tight jean every once in a while,
I
but
would
yeah.
love to see
But
you in some tight jeans.
people that wear tight jeans to like Warped Tour,
Mm-hmm.
come on,
Are we doing it? Are
No.
we wearing tight jeans to Warped Tour this
dude.
year? Dude?
I'm wearing. I honestly might wear boxers.
Okay, that's
I'm
it.
thinking about just wearing boxers and like a wife beater. Or sorry, you can't say wife beater anymore. What are those called? Man beaters.
Man beater,
Sure,
yeah.
we'll call them man beaters. Oh
That's
my
so
gosh.
funny. An undershirt, white undershirt. I don't know if there's an actual.
Exactly. You can cancel me. Sorry.
You already are, dude.
Yeah, true.
Way before this.
Oh yeah, true.
So, what's your favorite punk and favorite emo? Oh, you kind of said favorite punk a little bit, but you said the most punk. So, who's your favorite punk? Who's your favorite emo band?
Ooh. Oh my gosh, my favorite punk and favorite emo band. My favorite punk band. I guess if I'm just saying like punk is so. I think Blink is the most punk.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily my favorite.
Not your
punk
favorite,
band. I'll say this: my favorite emo band probably. Not just this second, because right now I love Microwave. That's been like my
Yeah.
favorite band for a little bit. But of all time, I could just consistently listen to them. It's funny because I don't like their new stuff, but their first like 3 to 4 records, The Dangerous Summer, was
Okay.
my favorite band
Yeah.
for a long time. They have meant so much to me. Some people listen to them; they're not emo. They are like very, very emo. I mean, it's like emotional pop music a little bit,
Okay.
but I mean, I think if bands like if Pierce the Veil can be called emo, The Dangerous Summer can be called emo. But I think they're emo. They're very emotionally driven. They have
Yeah.
fast music. They have some slow music. And in terms of like my favorite punk band, oh man, I have so much, and I guess it's like it's the punk music, but also the punk attitude. Man, one that comes to mind. I really love Fall Out Boy.
Say it. Yeah, there it is.
I really love Fall Out Boy.
Uh-huh.
I'm hesitant because I think like a lot of the newer stuff I don't love.
Yeah.
But like I listened to Take This to Your Grave. That whole record, it's on the wall right there.
I was gonna say,
It's
I'm
just-
in your house and I see your record. I
know.
see it.
It's just like, man, I listen to that and I just feel like, I don't know, it's just like the fast aggressiveness, the awesome lyrics. I'm just like, dude, this is so punk. It's just,
Yeah.
it makes you want to skate. Isn't that
Okay.
what punk music is? It
That's-
makes you want
there
to
it is.
skate. Yeah.
If it makes you want to skate, then it's punk.
Yeah, that's
I
my
like that.
definition. Yeah.
Do you want to take the opportunity to give me your history of where emo came from, how
Oh
it
my
started?
gosh. Yeah, I'm gonna butcher it, sure, but yeah. So I mean, hardcore started on the East Coast, specifically in DC, right? You had bands like the Bad Brains, and it's funny because like, I think punk and like rap they seem so different, but they're so similar. Like, when you look at the history of hardcore and punk music, like yeah, you go back to the Ramones, but even further back, you go back to like jazz music. Like jazz was punk in the day.
Yeah.
You know, it was organized chaos, and that's kind of what punk music is to a degree. if you just listen to a Blink song, like an early Blink song, sometimes it sounds chaotic, but it's organized chaos. It has a purpose. It's going somewhere.
Yeah.
Same with jazz. It's going somewhere. Hardcore, it's going somewhere. Someone listens to a foundation song or a title fight song, it sounds like it's going nowhere, but it's going somewhere. So you have this hardcore music in DC, Bad Brains goes up to New York, and then you have this New York sprawl. And during all that, you have these bands that like are in hardcore but want to be different, like that want to be a little more emotional, a little bit different, and it really springs too from like the straight edge version of hardcore. So you have bands like DC bands like Rites of Spring, Fugazi, and then you have other people from Minor Threat that like make other bands that are emo, and it just sprawls. And then you have these New York emo bands. You have like Drive Thru Records, like some of my other early, and like I said, if you don't want to call these emo bands, you can go suck one. Sorry. The Starting Line, like bands like that from New Jersey, or like Taking Back Sunday, Brand New, all these bands. And then you have other ones like Hum, and you have Sunday Day Real Estate in Seattle, like all those. And so you have these waves of emo where it's like you have all those bands that play, and then 5 years later, they're now inspiring the next generation of emo music, and it's just continue. People call them, now it's like the fifth wave emo. I don't even know what it is, but yeah, I mean, emo came from hardcore music. Yeah. And hardcore music came from jazz. But and jazz also created hip hop. Yeah. So it's just really cool. I love the connection.
The family tree of music, where it all comes from. I love it.
Yeah.
So who made emo cool?
Oh my gosh, who made emo cool? I think most people will probably say Ian MacKaye.
Okay.
For Minor Threat and Fugazi. But I think for me, oh my God, that band right there made emo cool. I think for a lot of people too. I think Blink, for a lot of people, made emo cool. Okay. I mean, not emo, but pop punk. Yeah. Made pop punk cool. To me, that band made emo cool because even if you look at like what emo music is, but then also the Hot Topic emo. Yeah. Pete Wentz is both of those. Oh, right?
He is Hot Topic.
He is Hot Topic. And he was cool. And he dated one of the Simpson sisters, right? Ashley Simpson or something like that.
So, yeah. Good for him.
Like, dude, that band is so sick. And emo music can be argued about what it is, what it isn't. To me, that band for me made, when I first heard that record, when I saw the music video for Sugar We're Going Down, I'm like, dude, this band is sick.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I wasn't going to talk about it, but you brought it up. What merch have you got from Hot Topic?
Oh my God. You know what my favorite that I ever got was? It's funny because you and I just watched a video about Cute Is What We Aim For. And
you got a shirt for them?
Wait. I couldn't afford much. I had like $15 and it was on the sale rack in Hot Topic. And yeah, we were going skating and my shirt was soaked. Okay. Because from the sweat, it was Texas. It's 90 degrees, 95 degrees. It's super hot. So we go to the mall, we skate to it, and I'm looking at the shirts and I'm like, oh, I do like Q's What We Aim For. And it was this like tight black shirt with butterflies that said Q's What We Aim For. And I don't know what in me was, it was probably, I think it was honestly that same gene where it's like, I just want to be different. I want people to see me and be like, either that guy's sick or that guy's freak. Yeah. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I bought a Q's What We Aim For shirt, and yeah, shout out them, even though that video did not make it look like they were a good band.
Look good at all.
But yeah, shout out them.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Do you want to, I mean, so to go off what you were just saying, as far as like, you know, you want to stand out, you want to be different. So you want to talk about our experience yesterday?
Our experience, oh yeah. So we went to the caverns yesterday, the Luray Caverns. Shout out Cave Systems. Yeah, we went into the cave system, and then afterwards we went and got burgers at a place called Splunkers in Front Royal, Virginia. And if that doesn't sound like Hick Town, I don't know what does. So we're sitting there, and I had ordered some delicious onion rings, and there was a few left, and there were some people there that were not very punk rock, and so I was like, let's Lady and Tramp this bad boy. So Blair and I Lady and Tramped onion ring, and there was an old man maybe 15 or 20 feet at a table with his probably grandsons, who I think witnessed the entire thought process and execution of the Lady and Tramp. And on the way out, he was mad dogging us hard.
He could not believe what he witnessed.
No. He was thinking to himself, I've only seen that on the computer. I've never seen that in real life. Yeah.
He wanted us to get out of his town for sure.
He did not like that. Yeah, it was fun.
But you stuck out. You were different. I like it. Yeah. So another experience of being here was waking up at, was it 3, 4 in the morning to the fire alarm?
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yeah, it was annoying.
How was that for you?
Awful.
Miserable for me, man.
I went to bed.
I would just lay there in annoyance. Like, if this is how I go, I'm fine. I just want to sleep.
That's what I told Neil. I'm like, I'm not going out there. If there's a fire, okay, I'll die.
Nobody was screaming. I think we were fine.
No, they were fine. I didn't smell a fire. We were fine.
So it brings up a good question now.
Oh, God.
if there was a fire,
Yeah.
right? You got your records right here.
Oh my
What
gosh.
3? If you can only grab 3, what 3 are you grabbing?
Oh my gosh. Wow, that's a good question. I don't even have all my records. They're over there. So I would probably take. I have a Dangerous Summer signed record, their first album.
Okay.
Like when they were the one before they were signed to Hopeless Records, and then they re-released it on Hopeless Records.
Okay, cool.
I have it signed
from all of them?
by the singer.
Okay.
I think it's also signed by the drummer who's not in the band anymore. He was awesome. He was really nice to Danielle when we met them.
Cool.
And I would also take that Foundation Turncoat record. That's one of my favorite hardcore records of all time. And they just repressed it. Like they broke up and then they just came back together to do festivals and they repressed it. And I was blown away. I was so excited. It's one of the best hardcore EPs. One of the reasons I'm straight edge too, for that band.
Nice.
And
when did that record come out?
That record came out. Oh my gosh! So it's actually an EP. It's really short, and I think it came out. Oh my gosh! I'm gonna get ringed. 2011, 2012,
Okay,
something like
cool.
that.
Because you just got that last time I was here visiting. It came in the mail with that shirt that you got.
Yeah. They broke up and then didn't do anything for I don't know 5 to 10 years, and then they've been doing festivals. The last record I would take, like I said, I'd need to look. I feel like I need to take that Taylor Swift record so that Danielle has one. But if I'm being selfish,
Selfish.
selfishly,
Selfish.
Oh, man, that's so hard. I love all these records. Honestly, I think they're all up here. I would honestly take that Title Fight record
Nice.
because that's one of my favorite records of all time. Floral Green. I think it's phenomenal. But then I would be sad because that was my favorite record last year. The Story So Far one.
Yeah, you got Koyo on the wall. You got
Origami
Origami Angel on the
I
wall.
mean,
Sorry guys, you're all burning.
honestly, I'd break the rules and they're all burned. I'd rather me burn than those burn.
That's fair. Save them.
Yeah,
Throw them out the window.
exactly.
One of the things I really appreciate about visiting you is, how much I love baseball. So you've taken me to 2 new baseball parks.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite baseball park? I think it's obvious.
I mean, Camden Yards,
Yep.
I think, is the best, and that's not biased. If you look at lists, Camden Yards is often up as one of the best.
Top 5 usually.
And you know what it is? It's because it has a good feel. It's not trying to be anything crazy. It kind of feels like when you're a kid and you go to that first ballpark. Maybe it's like a minor league team, but it's like on a bigger level. It just feels nice. The atmosphere is good. Baltimore doesn't have a lot of great stuff. It has a really bad rap, and that's a gem there. So I really like. That's probably my
beautiful.
favorite one I've been to. Nats Park. It's a baseball park.
Run of the mill.
It's just fine. I don't think it gets a bad rap. I don't think it's bad. I just think it has a purpose to have baseball games and have food, and that's it. And, that's
And concerts.
And concerts.
Yep.
And it does them well. I mean,
Yep.
you guys saw Green Day there.
Yep.
How was that?
It was fun, dude. It was a little echoey because they were facing towards home plate, so it was a little echoey, little coming, but still, it was a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah. I mean,
Rain delay, of course, though.
Oh my gosh, I know. When you came last time, there was so many rain delays, but I mean, the only thing that sucks about Nats Park is the gnats. That's probably the worst part of that's the worst part of that. But
As we're like 15 miles from them, they're gonna come beat us, dude. They heard you. They're not okay with that.
please.
So, what would your walk-up song be?
Ooh, I was thinking about this because we talked about this at the game
Yeah.
today. I thought about it more, and you had a good point. And like, kind of, you want something accessible. You want something people can cheer on. But I was like, screw that. Numb, but I still feel by Title
Okay.
Fight at the beginning
Okay.
with like the drum, bum 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 bum. So that not that part, but
Yeah.
that song, right when he comes in and goes, "By now you know."
Okay.
That I think that part, like that 30-second clip, I would probably do. I think
Yeah,
it's sick.
that's-
I think it depends who I play for, because if I played for the Orioles, I would do a Turnstile song. I think that would be sick. I like when teams,
Seems appropriate.
right, and I like when teams or when players do like some sort of like regional specific song. But
Yeah. So we're at the hour and 8-minute mark. You
Okay.
good to keep going for a few?
I'm good.
I want to go back to Warped. We mentioned wearing our tight
Oh my gosh.
tight pants there. Who are you excited to see this year?
Oh my gosh, let me get my list out.
Have you been to a Warped Tour before?
Yes.
Where was this?
First time I've only been in Dallas, which
Okay.
is a horrendous place to go. If you look at old Warped like lists, like their old tour dates from past years, Dallas was almost always the first date because it's so hot.
Yeah.
It was always like an early June one, but it was always so.
It's good for the bands. If you can endure this, you can endure the rest of the tour.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean,
That or Phoenix, right?
I remember, I remember watching After the Burial, which is like a really fun kind of like metal. I don't even know how to describe them. They're a metal band. They have a song where like it basically sounds like they're like trying to raise a Egyptian god from the dead. Like that's the kind of vibe. So I'm listening to them. I'm drenched.
Great example or definition.
Drenched,
Okay.
Right. And the band before had given me a lukewarm tea lemonade monster, which was phenomenal, but like not doing the hydration job. And I just remember being so miserably hot listening to this band that I love. But all I can hear is freaking We the Kings from behind us.
Miserable.
Oh my gosh, all I can hear is yes, Julia. I'm like, this is the last thing I want to hear when I'm this hot.
You're ruining my vibe.
So funny. Okay, yes, I have a list because when you're at this age and you start to get OCD and ADHD more, you need to have a list. People can say what they want about Warp this year. The fact that they have an app.
Yeah, you like that?
Navigate. I love it.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'll just stick with like the bands that I'm really dying to see. Origami Angel because I think they're one of the best live bands right now. Big Ass Truck because I think they're sick. They put on a really fun live show. I'm excited to see them. I've never seen them before. Never seen Cartel. I think that would be sick.
Yeah, that's cool.
Drain. Have you seen Drain?
I haven't yet.
I think that would be fun. They're such a summer.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yes,
we're gonna get destroyed.
Oh, 100%.
Uh-huh.
A couple other big ones. Let Live, of course.
Obviously.
I think that might be set of the day, maybe depending.
And Fever 333.
I know both of those.
We're gonna get a day to see Jason Butler each day, dude.
Well, what's crazy is like this is one of the first shows they're back together.
Yeah.
I just think it's gonna be.
And they announced a tour, so that'll be fun.
So cool. I'll save this one for the last because that's what I'm most excited for. Sweet Pill, I love. I want to see them again. Chiodos, I think will be awesome. That'll be you and me going crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun at that one.
Yeah, I mean, I have some bands on here like Avril Lavigne. I'd love to catch one song or two. I know Danielle really wants to. Angel Dust, I really want to see. Koyo. I mean, if you see Koyo, you will have seen Koyo like 4 times in a year.
Within a year
There's
span.
no way you've seen a band more than that.
Nope.
That's crazy.
Not within that time frame. I mean, more than that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, more than that, but yeah.
But within a year, yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, that's probably more than they've seen their parents this year.
Yeah, probably.
Some other bands, but the one I'm probably most excited for, honestly, is Scary Kids.
Yeah.
Because last time I saw them was at Zumi's Warped Tour. And after that, they broke up, and I was like, I'll never see that band again. Loved them, one of my favorite bands at the time, and now they're back. Obviously not the same lineup exactly.
Yep.
I'm curious to see who sings.
Me too.
But I'm hopeful.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I mean, what if you had to guess who's gonna sing? Who's gonna sing?
Well, you said Anthony Green.
That's my guess. Yep.
I think that's a good guess, and I think that's probably right. I would love Kurt Travis because I love Dance Gavin Dance, and he was my favorite vocalist for Dance Gavin Dance. But because Seosin's also playing, if they play on different days, I think probably Anthony Green. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Or Sonny Skrillex.
Oh my gosh.
Curveball. He could be doing it.
I'm afraid he's gonna bring out like a DJ set and start doing stuff. He might. Who knows?
He'll be there.
Who's on your list?
That's it. You nailed it.
All those ones. Just the Wonder Years too.
Yeah, Wonder Years is gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see them. Let's see. Silly Goose.
Silly Goose.
I'm excited to see them. I'm really excited that Jacob, Bradley is singing. Well, Bradley's son is singing now for Sublime, and he's doing Jacob's Castle.
That would be cool.
I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. I've never seen Sublime, so
yeah. His music does he do the same stuff as Sublime? Like is it the same like kind of?
No, it's like the same.
Different?
Yeah, it's his own thing, and it's like one of those genres that it's like you just incorporate whatever you want to incorporate, and you do what you want to do.
Cool.
Yeah,
for him.
It's a little bit more technical, but I like it. He
seems like a really good guitarist.
Yeah,
like I've seen him when he does it. I've seen some live videos of him like playing those solos and stuff. He's really good.
Yeah.
You think Rome's upset?
Well, I mean, how could he not be? Like, but kind of like I would say like Skiba, right? Like he knew it was gonna come. At someday, right? Like I don't think there was ever any secrets with Sublime of you're gonna be forever. I think they made it. No, if Jacob ever wants to do it, he's doing it, and I hope I'm saying the right name because what if I'm not?
True.
Look like a fool right now.
Well, and do you know? And this might be tangential, but like, why was it Sublime with Rome? Was that a him thing? Like he wanted his own.
I have no idea. Yeah, we'll have to look into that and see if they wanted a distinction.
Yeah, because he had his own following before, so maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Weird.
Just so people knew.
Yeah.
That the resurrection didn't happen for Bradley. Like this is a different person.
Like when Tupac was like they did. I think it was at ACL when they had a Tupac hologram. Do you remember that?
Wasn't it Coachella?
Oh, maybe it was Coachella. Yeah, people were freaking out that he was back. It's like clearly not.
All right, this one is important for me to ask you because every time I see you, you're like, have you seen this documentary? Have you seen this band documentary?
Oh my gosh.
We watched the Descendants documentary, which I loved. What's your favorite music documentary?
That's up there. That's one of my favorite
It was a good
ones.
one.
Yeah, Rob showed me that one, and it was cool not being a huge Descendants fans watching it and realizing how many people how many bands they've influenced.
Yeah.
Especially the band All. Like I didn't
Yeah.
realize how many bands loved All. So I loved that one. There's a documentary called American Hardcore, which is about hardcore. That was my favorite always growing up. My favorite of all time, though, if I have to pick one, if I can't watch any others, some people would say the Foo Fighters one, which is a great one. But as someone who's a huge Rush fan,
Okay.
Beyond the Lighted Stage, the Rush documentary,
Right
is
on.
unbelievable. It's the only rock or documentary where I've cried, like a music documentary where I've cried. You just see like those dudes are so like you want to talk about punk, dude. Rush actually might be the first punk band.
Okay.
Because they were so not what people wanted.
Yeah.
Like people wanted pop music.
Yep.
And they wrote a song called Working Man, which is they were writing about like how hard it is to be a blue collar. People weren't writing about that. People were writing about love songs, and they were writing about no, it's hard to be a blue collar worker.
Yeah.
And they were just these like music nerds from Canada, and they're just so talented and so sick. And that they talk about like when Neil Peart lost his daughter and wife, and he went on that long motorcycle ride and told no one. I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then I think I'm gonna wrap it up with your book. It's sitting right here.
Oh yeah.
What's it called?
Plug. Above a World So Lovely. It's like 90 something pages, and poetry book.
Yeah. So what inspired you? Like, where did this come from? What started this idea?
Yeah, I mean, I always loved. I mean, loving music was helped. Like I loved art too. When I was growing up, my grandmother was a docent at the art museum in DC, the National Art Museum, and I went there a ton, and I would like both go on my own tours with her, and then I would also just like shadow her as she would give people tours. That was one of the things she did. So I always loved art, and I always loved poetry. Like I remember fondly reading like Shea Silverstein and Robert Frost, and I loved the movie Dead Poet Society as a kid. And then later when I was a teenager, I really liked beat poetry. Like I liked Allen Ginsberg, and so I always liked the idea of poetry, and I started writing it as a teenager. When I was like 16 or 17, I took a creative writing class, won some awards, like some nationwide,
Cool.
Poetry awards. I did like this huge poetry book for it, and I just always loved it. And as a missionary, I hated writing my journal, as most people do, but I felt obligated to do so. So I would write poems instead.
Nice.
Of like what I was doing, and I did the same thing when I lived in Israel, or when I lived in Jerusalem. And so this is kind of an accumulation, like accumulated all those poems that I wrote, kind of like in college, right before college, on my mission, and then into adulthood. So yeah, they're not like haikus. They're mostly free verse, like not a lot of rhyming, that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of like thought vomit. But the theme that I wanted was about like how beautiful the world can be if you surround yourselves with beautiful things and beautiful people.
Mm-hmm.
So I had my friend Sarah Lester do like these beautiful pictures in them, and there's some songs about like, or not songs, right? There's poems about Danielle and about my dog Lily and about some of our friends and being a musician and depression and anxiety and like suicide, death. One of my really good friends in high school, actually, Nick, who played in that band I was talking about, the Clutch Theory, he passed away, man, maybe 5 or 7 years ago. And so there's a couple about him because he loved music, and so just stuff like that. And honestly, it was first just like I was gonna give it to my friends, and I had a really good time writing it, and I want to do another one eventually, like a longer one. This was just kind of like my first compiling them all, and came out really good. Danielle helped me with like kind of making the cover look beautiful, and the art's beautiful. So
it came out great. The art's phenomenal. It's beautiful. Like everything about it's beautiful.
I appreciate it. Yeah, Sarah's unbelievable. Like really, really great artist. So.
When was it actually released? When did it come out?
So my goal was last year, and it was published December 31st.
Nice.
So like I think I hit it with like 10 minutes before midnight.
They had a quick turnaround to be able, because I purchased it right after that. Like you're able to get it really fast. So where can somebody find this book right now?
You can get it on Amazon if you look up Above a World So Lovely by Christian Anderson. It's also on Kindle Unlimited. Also, like if you want to get it for someone that you love and you don't want to pay full price or you can't afford it, just let me know and we can get you an author's copy. I'm not trying to make money off of this. I think I make 20 cents off of each one. I think it's like, one thing I like about music, one thing I like about The Dangerous Summer is their lyrics really connected to me, especially feelings, as most people do with other artists. Like, they would say words or thoughts in their lyrics that help me feel like, wow, I felt that before and I thought I was alone. And so I hope that that's what people can do when they read this. Be like, oh, I've had that thought before and thought I was the only one. So, yeah.
Anybody can pick up this book and enjoy it and really appreciate and respect it. Last time I came out here was January, 13th, 14th. I had a flight out here.
Yeah.
So I already had the copy by then. And so I remember I had it in my hand the whole day, hoping somebody on the plane would be like, what book are you reading, right? And that's when I read it. Because, I mean, I got it, I think, the day before my flight. And I made sure I had it prepared to come out here and see you. And, like, I had read most of it the year previous when you were, compiling it. And so, like, most of it I recognized and remembered. But I just wanted so badly to be able to share it with somebody. And somebody's like, oh, like, I got to look that up. Like, I would have just gave it to them. So, yeah, if you don't know Christian, if this is your first experience with him, like, you can appreciate it even if you don't know him. But if a friend of Christian's listening to this right now and you don't have a copy, pause this, go get it. Like, you already know Christian. I mean, he talks about himself very openly, but you can kind of put some pieces together about him and appreciate, respect, and love him a little bit more. You said a few things that, I mean, it's extremely vulnerable of you to put on paper. Like, how was that? Like, were you nervous? Did you care about what people thought? Like,
yeah, I mean, both of those things. Yeah,
okay.
I was very nervous. There's a couple poems in here to talk about self-harm.
Yeah.
And talk about suicidal ideation and stuff like that. And yeah, that's something I'd never talked to anyone about.
Yeah.
I'd never talked to people that I've had thoughts before of hurting myself, or I've had thoughts of like, would life be better for people if I wasn't on this earth?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was scared. There's some stuff here that people don't know is about them, and if they read into it, they might be able to or not know. And I was nervous that they would think either, oh, like, I'm a bad person because you wrote this, or he's obsessed with me, which is not the case. Like, this, a lot of this is supposed to be meant as like this is my love to you, or this is like how you hurt me. And I tried to keep it vague enough so that it was not talking about any one person specifically. But there's a poem in here about my birth father, and if he ever reads it, he will probably know it's about him.
Yeah.
And I went back and forth, like, should I put his name as the name of the poem? I ended up not doing that.
Okay.
Decided not to, because I didn't want it to be specific about that person, but I wanted it to be a poem where, like, if you've had someone that's hurt you, especially a parental figure or someone in your life that maybe should have been in your life more than they chose to, that you can connect to it. So yeah, there was a lot in there that I was a little bit felt vulnerable and felt a little bit scared to do, but I was like, I've done it before in music, and also there's worse stuff. So yeah.
Well, I'd really admire you that you did it, man. Like, that's a big step, and you don't know what could have come from it, but you still chose to do it.
True.
So yeah, I respect the hell out of you for doing that. I think another aspect of it, I mean, you said, what was it, 87 pages?
So, yeah, on there.
So I mean, not huge, right? But everything about this art that you did was extremely intentional. There's nothing, like, you explained to me that there was I hope I'm not ruining anything, but there was a page that you left blank for a reason, like your grammar, your writing style, everything was extremely intentional. So hearing you talk about what you just did, like, even proves it more that nothing went without, notice, or like there was thought into everything.
Yeah, I did do that on purpose, and I knew that was going to be a point where people would be like, hey, you misspelled something, or like, hey, you left a page blank. And I'm glad that people, like, pay attention for that to happen. But yeah, there's a poem in there, the one you're referring to, where it's called POS, I believe. And anyway, it's about thinking poorly about yourself.
Okay.
And calling yourself, like, it basically is like, sometimes I think I'm a piece of shit. Like, am I a good person, or am I just like a regular piece of shit? And I think after that, it's a blank page, and, like, you can look at it as like, oh, like, there was a mistake. But to me, it's like, I call myself that a lot, mistakenly, like, when I'm upset at myself.
Okay.
And I think it's very, very serious. And Danielle has helped me kind of realize this, like, that goes a long way to yourself. When someone else calls you something mean, a lot of the times it is mean. It's bad, but you can brush it off. If you are mean to yourself, it goes a long way, because you just circulate around the thoughts. And so that poem, I wanted to force myself, or the reader, after you read that, to be self-reflective, of, like, to take a moment and pause and be like, do I do this to myself, and is it okay to do that? So I appreciate that you saw that. Yeah, everything was very intentional, and also it's like, if I do this so that the mistakes are intentional, that if there are actual mistakes, no big deal.
Then it just works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So,
Like no one's gonna second guess you. Like, oh, Christian meant that. But
Yeah.
that's also your personality too. Like you're a very intentional person. You put a lot of thought into what you do and how you're gonna do it, and like you don't just, I don't know how to say it, and like so it doesn't come across rude, but like you don't just go with the flow.
right.
Like you create the flow, and you want the flow to go how you want it to go.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And you know, both ways aren't bad or
Yeah,
anything,
100%,
but
yeah.
like that's just you and your personality. I like it. Talking about this though makes me think back to when we met. We were in bands. You had another project that you were doing. What was that?
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It was called Mr. Rogers. Is that what you're referring to?
There was like you had like a poetry.
Oh, No More Bad Days.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
So
Yeah.
tell me about both.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how Danielle and I met a little bit. Well, I'll talk first. Yeah, I did do another music thing called Mr. Rogers. It was just a small EP that was like, it was actually a lot of these poems that were in music form.
Okay.
Anyway, but No More Bad Days. Yeah, I was having a tough time at school. Just I was doing music and whatnot, but I was just feeling like depressed a bit. And I remember I was in church, not paying attention, unfortunately. But I was in church.
Wait, what?
I was in church, not paying attention.
Not what?
Yeah, exactly.
How dare you?
And I just had this idea. I'm like, I guarantee, especially in like a religious school like we were in, there's probably so many people that are feeling the exact same way. And for me, music was helping me, and art was helping me, and poetry was helping me. So I was like, there's got to be other people that this would help too. And at the time, I was on the Heber J. Grant Council, which was this new student council they were doing to help with a mentorship program that the school was starting. And the mentorship program was for kids that came from, or students that came from poverty or mental health issues, and they would have like a permanent mentor for 4 years that would help them, like a student mentor. And so that mixed with like the poetry and depression aspect, I was like, this would be a great idea for like a group. So, and I had been to AA meetings before with my stepfather just to like be supportive of him. So I was like, if I run it like that, where it's like an open forum where people can come and listen or talk, they don't have to do either.
Yeah.
They don't have to introduce themselves, but if they want to, they can come and listen and talk. Then I think we can do something good. So I talked with my friend Evan at the time, and we talked about like a good way to do it. And I ended up coming up with like a website and kind of a general idea of like what I wanted it to be. And it was going to be a weekly meeting where people got together and presented like their own poems or music that's helped them. And it was an open forum where people could talk and people could listen. We ended up doing a showcase, a music showcase where we sold shirts, and we got like donations and stuff like. Well, we got donations to do the show. It was no money towards us. The bands all played it for free, and actually that same venue that made us pay for a band for that also made me pay for.
Of course, yeah. He wouldn't do any
like
charitable
$600
thing.
or
That's
something.
not his personality, man.
No, not his personality. So yeah, we did that. I had some really cool musicians play it. Big O came out from Boise and played it.
Cool.
I played it acoustic. There was trackside play. So it was really, really cool. That lasted for maybe 2 years, and then it just kind of died off. It was a lot of work, and I was just busy with school, but I learned a lot of lessons. It did help a lot of people. We would do stupid stuff. Like we'd go give free hugs to people. I mean, it sounds stupid, just like people hated it.
Yeah.
I liked doing it, but we would go by where the Berg was and give free hugs. And we would get people being like, you're only doing this for attention. Like, why are you doing this? I'm like, I don't know. It was just, that's how Rexburg gets sometimes.
Why can't it be both though? Why can't it be for attention and to cheer somebody up?
Yeah, true, exactly. And that was kind of the point.
I think that's how you and I are. Like, we'll do something stupid to be funny, but at the same time, if you can help somebody else along the way, why not?
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, it was a good time. I wish I would have taken it more seriously. And for my senior project, for my major, I actually ended up doing a mock of what it would be to run it full time as a nonprofit.
Okay.
Like partnering with like schools that were like having like a lot of mental health issues and making it kind of like an AA where you can go to a meeting anywhere in the world. And
nice.
But that's a fantasy. One day when I hit the lottery, when I hit a good scratcher, we'll put money away for that. But yeah,
go get some scratches right now, dude.
Yeah,
Let's go. Let's get this going again.
Exactly.
I thought it was cool, and like, I mean, it sounds like you learned from it, and like, at least you tried, man. That's one of the things. Like, people sometimes like, oh, it'd be so cool if there was this, and they're like, okay, we'll go do it. And they're like, nah, somebody else will do it.
Yeah.
That's something about you. If you want to do it, you go do it, man. Like,
Yeah,
you find that making your own stream.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it was good. Well, I'm just like you with this podcast. It's like, it's sick. you're interesting, which is nice. If I did a podcast, I'm like, I'm not interesting enough. You're interesting and you know a lot of cool people. And the fact that you're just doing this, I think is awesome.
Well, what's funny is you say I'm interesting, but you're the one talking. I'm just asking the question. So it's
Yeah,
obviously that you're the interesting person.
You're the interesting one because you know people and like you have networked and you know everyone and you're so friendly and good with people. So I think this is a good idea. I also think every music podcast I've ever listened to is like two famous people talking to each other.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like if I'm gonna ask someone their favorite restaurant, I'm not gonna ask the restaurant owners.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask the people that eat at the restaurant.
Yeah.
The people that listen to the music.
Yeah.
How has the music affected you? So that's why I think this is awesome.
Yeah, that's us right now. I appreciate the compliment that was in there. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And thanks for doing this with me.
Yeah,
dude.
it's awesome.
It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for having me in your home again. Like,
Of course.
showing me around as you always do. You're a great tour guide. I love
No
it.
problem. It's great. I appreciate it.
You're kicking me out here in a couple of days, but I'm excited to come back for Warped Tour, dude.
I know.
It's going to be a blast.
I'm really excited. I'm going to start getting ready so I don't sweat too much there.
Do some stretching now.
I know.
You gotta get your new Vans.
Dude, after that 3 hours at that cover band, like, how
we
are we
were
going to do
sore.
2 days?
We were dead. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to get ortho inserts for my Vans.
We got to find a way to sneak some chairs in so we can rest when we need to.
Dude, honestly, I'm thinking about getting injured a week before so I can have a wheelchair.
If you need help with that, I got you, dude. Whatever you
Perfect,
want. You know,
perfect.
push you down the stairs.
Perfect.
Hit you with your skateboard.
That's a
whatever
great
you want.
idea. It's a great idea.
All right, man. Is there anything else you want to say
No,
before we wrap
this is
this up?
great.
Thanks for doing it with me, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Have a good day, dude.
Thanks, you too.